Most people think spending more on a Casio automatically means getting a better Casio. Most people are wrong. The difference between a $15 F99W and a $1,000 MRG has almost nothing to do with telling time. Both do that perfectly well. What changes at each level is the engineering philosophy behind the case, the problem the watch was actually built to solve, and whether that problem belongs to you. 7 levels, 1 logo, 1 winner. By the end of this, you will know exactly where to stop spending and exactly where you have been leaving real value on the table. Level 1. The F91W costs $15. It has been in continuous production since 1991. 30 plus years, same module, same resin case, same mineral crystal. Navy SEALs wore it on operations, not because they could not afford something better, but because it was reliable, cheap to replace, and did not reflect light in the dark. That combination turned a $15 watch into a piece of genuine cultural history. Here is what most people get wrong about Level 1. Cheap price does not mean cheap engineering. The F91W runs on a quartz module accurate to within 30 seconds per month. Most entry mechanical watches that cost 10 times as much cannot match that number. The problem is not accuracy. The problem is that nothing inside the watch is built for the long term. The case will yellow, the resin will crack, the crystal will scratch. You will replace it, and at $15, you should do so without hesitation or guilt. Here is what the marketing will not tell you about Level 1. The fashion-adjacent Casios. At this price point, the slim ones with the clean dials and the lifestyle imagery cost the same and deliver less. Less durability, less history, less reason to exist. The best value at Level 1 is the F91W. Not a lookalike, not a spiritual successor. The original. The one that has been worn in conflict zones and counting rooms for over 3 decades without revision. It does not need better technology to be the right answer. It needs to be the right problem. Level 2 is where the engineering changes and the watch stops being a fashion decision. The GA2100, known in the watch community as the Casio, happened almost by accident. Casio gave it an octagonal bezel, a slim analog digital display, and a lower profile case than anything in the G-Shock line before it. The watch community noticed immediately that its silhouette echoed a Swiss icon costing 15 times the price. The comparison spread. Within months, the GA2100 had become a genuine phenomenon. Inside the watch community, people who had owned watches at every price level kept coming back to it. That is not nostalgia. That is a verdict. Here's what most people get wrong about Level 2. The reason the Casio embarrassed watches costing $300 was not the design, it was the engineering underneath the case. Carbon-reinforced resin structure, shock-resistant architecture, a quartz module reliable enough to run for years without service, housed inside a silhouette that had no business existing at this price point. You are not buying a lookalike. You are buying a watch built to survive, wearing a design borrowed from a conversation that normally costs far more to enter. The best value at Level 2 is the GA2100, under $100. It outperforms its price by a margin that should make entry Swiss brands genuinely uncomfortable. Level 3 is the inflection point in the entire lineup. This is where Casio solved 2 problems simultaneously that no mechanical watch at any price has fully addressed. Tough solar means the watch charges on any available light source and never needs a battery you have to consciously manage. Multiband 6 radio synchronization means the watch corrects itself automatically using atomic clock signals from 6 transmitters across the globe. If you are finding this breakdown useful, subscribe. I cover watches and the objects worth caring about every week. Here is what the marketing will not tell you about Level 3. A serviced Rolex is rated accurate to plus or minus 2 seconds per day. Your GW series Casio does not drift at all. That is not a criticism of mechanical watchmaking at all. It is a completely different category of precision, solving a different problem entirely, and the two things should not be compared as if one is simply a cheaper version of the other. The GW-M5610 is the correct buy at level 3. It wears the same square silhouette as the original DW-5600. The case looks nearly identical from outside. Inside, it is a completely different object. Solar-powered, radio-synchronized, built to require zero maintenance for the life of the watch. Same design language as $15. Entirely different engineering underneath. Level 4 is where the feature stack reaches its logical conclusion. The Pro Trek line, the PRW series, adds an altimeter, a barometer, compass, and thermometer to the solar and radio foundation built at level 3. It is a legitimate outdoor instrument, not a marketing claim, an independently verifiable tool. Here's what most people get wrong about level 4. The capability is real. The buyer is often not. Most Pro Trek owners live in cities. They wear it to offices, airports, and restaurants where the atmospheric data it collects has no practical use whatsoever. The best value at level 4 is honest. Only buy a Pro Trek if you actually go outside. If you hike seriously, climb, or work in environments where barometric pressure matters, this watch earns every dollar it costs. If you do not, level 3 already solved your problem more elegantly for less money. Know the difference before you spend it. Level 5 is where Casio stops being a value conversation. The Frogman, the GWF series, carries an ISO 6425 professional diver certification. That is not marketing language. It means the watch was independently tested and rated for professional use underwater. Frogman owners do not buy it because it looks aggressive. They buy it because it performs the actual task. The Rangeman, the GW9400, makes a parallel argument at the same level. Carbon-reinforced case, full triple sensor, military-grade specifications, solar-powered. It is the most capable tool watch Casio produces below $500. Here is what most people get wrong about level 5. Both watches are excellent. Most buyers will never push either one to its rated limits. That is genuinely fine, but know it going in. The best value at level 5 is the Rangeman. Wider use case, same engineering pedigree, lower price than the Frogman. If you have to choose one, choose the one built for the ground. Level 6 is a different conversation entirely. The MRG is not a G-Shock that costs more. It is a hand-finished instrument sharing a design language with the G-Shock family, but competing in a completely different arena. Titanium case, sapphire crystal. Components finished to a standard Casio applies nowhere else in its catalog. Here is the uncomfortable truth about level 6. Above $800, the MRG competes directly against entry Swiss. Against a Tissot or a Hamilton khaki field mechanical, it wins on durability, material quality, and the engineering underneath the case. It loses on brand narrative. A Swiss dial carries cultural weight that a Casio dial does not, regardless of what lives underneath it. That trade-off is real. If you need the finishing and you understand what you are holding, buy it without apology. If you need the logo to do social work for you, the MRG will leave you disappointed. Level 7 is the Oceanus, and the Oceanus is not a better G-Shock. Here's what most people get wrong about level 7. Casio did not build the Oceanus to top the G-Shock hierarchy. They built it to make a separate argument entirely, that the same engineering philosophy powering a tool watch could live inside a dress watch silhouette. Slim titanium case, sapphire crystal, solar and radio synchronized. The OCW series at $600 to $1,000 competes against the Seiko Presage and entry Longines. It wins on technology. It concedes on mechanical soul. There is no automatic movement inside, no rotor spinning through the case back, nothing that rewards the ritual of winding or the pleasure of feeling it work. That trade-off is real. Know it before you buy. So, Where does that leave you? The answer for most buyers is Level 2 or Level 3, a GA 2100 or a GW M5610 under $150. Between them, they solve every problem a watch is actually asked to solve in ways that watches costing 5 times as much genuinely cannot match. Start there. Learn what you actually need before spending more. The question was never which Casio costs the most. The best Casio is not the most expensive one. It is the one built for the life you actually live, worn on the right wrist for decades without a second thought.